So let's turn our attention back to politics. All 56 SNP members of Parliament are going to be arriving in London this morning. They're coming down from Glasgow, all on the same plane, apparently, making their way to Westminster for the first time since their election success, of course, in Scotland.
The leader, Nicola Sturgeon, says her party is now the main opposition for the Conservatives. John's got a closer look at their policies. John.
That's right. The SNP went from holding just 6 seats in Parliament to a massive 56, claiming all but 3 constituencies north of the border. The party hopes this will allow them greater influence at Westminster. Leader Nicola Sturgeon has confirmed she wants tax and welfare powers to be devolved to Scotland as a priority, while the party's pro-EU stance and repeated calls for an end to austerity and spending cuts could challenge Tory plans. So just how much disruption will the SNP cause at Westminster?
Well, let's put that to political correspondent for the Scotsman, David Mannix. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, I think, you know, one of the main things on everyone's mind is, does this mean that there's going to be quite a swift referendum? And is the UK about to face breakup?
Well, I would say that there's a very good chance of it. I mean, Nicola Sturgeon, to be fair on her, has been saying for the last few weeks now that this election was not about another referendum and that it would have to wait for another manifesto. But, you know, we have another election next year in Scotland. We have a Scottish Parliament election. And I think they're just looking for an excuse to put another referendum in.
Just to explain technically how another referendum would have to be introduced.
So there's a so-called triple lock on it. So it has to be agreed by the SNP into their manifesto. They then need to win an election for the Scottish Parliament, and then it has to be agreed by Parliament, by both parliaments. And
So the elections are happening when?
Next year, 2016, for the Scottish Parliament.
Well, sort of in the spring, in the summer?
In May.
In May?
Yes.
So they're happening in May. So if this is going to happen, it will have to be in their manifesto for May.
Yes.
As they go into that election.
Yeah.
John's point that he was saying there, and I think this is a big concern for lots of people, is the disruption that the SNP are going to have in Westminster. How do you see that manifesting itself?
I actually think they're going to be very frustrated because they were coming down here. Everybody was expecting them to make big gains, but they were expecting to hold the balance of power. And now we've got a majority Conservative government who have policies that they're mostly against. You know, Conservatives will continue austerity, they will go for this EU referendum, and they won't be able to stop it. You know, David Cameron's going to be able to get his stuff through.